Chicago in the summer of 1858.
The heat is so intense that horses collapse in the streets. The pavement softens and the river is covered with green algae. The stench is so overpowering that people cover their noses with wet cloths.
Many find relief in the only affordable escape they have: ice cream.
It was sold on nearly every street corner, affordable for almost anyone.
And the lines for it never disappeared from morning until night.
Children ate it on the sidewalks, while adults carried it home in metal tins.
Soon after, people began to die. At first, a few, then dozens. The death toll quickly reached into the hundreds.
Doctors diagnosed typhoid fever, a disease that attacks internal organs and is often fatal.
Symptoms included high fever, delirium, and internal bleeding. By summer's end, the epidemic claimed over 1,500 lives in Chicago alone. City officials searched for the outbreak's source, finding it where least expected.
The ice itself, cut directly from city lakes, where sewage drained into the water.
Ice blocks were packed in sawdust, transported to factories, and used for ice cream.
People ate it, unaware that every bite could spread a deadly infection.
But the story of ice cream began much earlier, existing for thousands of years. It journeyed through China's imperial palaces and the bustling markets of the Arab world. From Italy's royal kitchens to Paris's elegant salons, before reaching Chicago. To understand its origins, we must go back to the mountains and the first person to eat ice.
Most people would say Italians or the French invented ice cream.
Some credit Catherine de' Medici for bringing the recipe from Florence to Paris. However, historical evidence does not support this story. The true story begins much earlier, nearly 1,000 years prior. In 7th century AD China, during the Tang dynasty, Emperor Taizong reigned. This era marked a golden age, and the monarch was known for his fondness for chilled desserts. Imperial records confirm, and the palace had ice houses, stocked with mounted ice. Court chefs mixed milk, flour, and camphor, creating a cooling dessert. Historians debate the exact dessert, but it was likely a frozen dairy dish. Its core elements were cold, a milk-based mixture, and sweetness. This concept endured for centuries, exclusively enjoyed by the emperor's inner circle. Chefs guarded the recipe's secrecy. Revealing it meant severe punishment. Frozen desserts symbolized privilege and status from the very beginning. While China kept its recipes secret, another tradition of chilled sweets emerged on the Silk Road. In the Arab world, these desserts became part of daily urban life.
By the 10th century, Arab vendors sold sherbet, a refreshing drink of juice, snow, and sugar.
The word sherbet later entered many European languages through Arabic.
Snow was transported from mountains via trade routes, and sherbet sellers became common.
This tradition slowly entered Europe via the Arab world, first in Sicily.
There, it evolved into granita, crushed ice, and fruit juice, a descendant of Arab sherbet.
Granita is still made today, using principles from 1,000 years ago. Sicily was a stop. From there, the tradition spread across mainland Europe.
Here, we find a story often repeated as fact, though its authenticity is questionable.
If you've researched ice cream history, you've likely heard this tale. In 1533, 14-year-old Catherine de' Medici married Henry II of France, leaving Florence for Paris. Legend says she brought Italian chefs with frozen dessert recipes, unknown in France. The recipe was a secret, and ice cream spread through Europe's royal courts.
However, no historical evidence supports this story.
Culinary historians found no 16th century sources mentioning it. The legend itself only appeared in the 20th century, 400 years later. This was not a mistake, but a later origin story accepted as fact. Historical sources show frozen desserts spread through France and Italy in the 17th century. This was thanks to expanding trade with the Arab Mediterranean.
No single inventor or birthplace exists, but a pioneering confectioner popularized these desserts. In 1686, Procopio opened Café Procopé in Paris, still running today. By the late 17th century, it was among the first to regularly serve diverse frozen desserts. Procopio presented them elegantly, experimenting with fruit, chocolate, and vanilla.
Vanilla arrived from across the seas. Renowned scholars and thinkers were regular visitors to this establishment.
Ice cream became more than a dessert. It became part of urban culture. Visiting Café Procopé signified belonging to the city's educated and wealthy elite. But one problem persisted that no chef could solve: ice. Ice was available in winter, but demand for frozen desserts peaked in summer. Thus, ice cream remained a luxury for centuries, only for those with ice houses. Even in wealthy Parisian homes, ice was expensive and scarce in summer.
For most, ice cream was a rare treat, enjoyed only at festivals or celebrations.
In the early 19th century, a visionary entrepreneur proposed shipping ice from northern regions.
He planned to cut ice, pack it in sawdust for insulation, and ship it to warmer climates.
First to Cuba and the Caribbean, then eventually to other parts of the world. Many dismissed his idea as absurd. Newspapers mocked him, and relatives refused financing. His first shipment to Martinique arrived partially melted. Merchants refused to buy the unusual product. Tudor lost his fortune and ended up in debtor's prison. After a period of hardship, he tried again, experimenting with insulation and improving storage. He sought to reduce losses during transport. He persuaded merchants and restaurant owners to use ice, teaching proper storage. To create demand, he gave away free ice cream and chilled drinks. By the 1830s, his company shipped ice to India, Australia, China, and the Caribbean. He became one of the city's wealthiest figures, earning a legendary nickname and laying foundations for global trade. Rapid growth made ice a commodity, reaching cities like Chicago, but competition drove cost-cutting. Companies harvested ice from any water, disregarding sanitation.
This led to the deadly Chicago epidemic in the summer of 1858. The tragedy showed natural ice dependence was dangerous. New refrigeration methods were needed. While engineers sought solutions, a woman made a breakthrough, transforming ice cream making. In 1843, a clever inventor patented a hand-cranked ice cream maker. Salt lowered the ice's freezing point, allowing quick, even cooling. The result was smoother ice cream, and the process took only 20 minutes. For families with ice, homemade ice cream became a practical reality. After patenting her invention, she sold the rights for a modest sum. A business leader acquired the patent, launching large-scale production and a successful enterprise. Johnson never profited from her invention's commercial success. Her story exemplifies how many 19th-century women inventors didn't profit from their innovations.
But her invention's importance went beyond the patent.
It simplified ice cream making, making it accessible to more of society. By the mid-19th century, ice cream transformed from a luxury into an everyday treat.
Then, something unexpected happened. Before the waffle cone debuted at the St. Louis World's Fair.
Another U.S. development transformed how people enjoyed ice cream.
By the late 19th century, soda fountains were common in American cities.
They served carbonated water with fruit syrups and ice cream, becoming popular social spots.
In many American communities, Sunday was a day of rest, discouraging worldly pleasures.
Some cities restricted or prohibited carbonated beverages on Sundays.
Soda fountain owners served only ice cream with flavored syrup. This dessert became known as the sundae.
The spelling changed to Sunday to avoid religious association, though its origin is debated.
The earliest documented Sunday sale was in Ithaca, New York in 1892. Other cities claim its birthplace, but such disputes are common for famous foods. Today, the chocolate sundae remains one of the world's most recognizable desserts. Its creation adapted to social and religious customs of the time. The year is 1904. The World's Fair in St. Louis hosted over 20 million visitors. Ice cream vendors worked non-stop. One ran out of paper cups at peak time.
A neighboring waffle vendor rolled a waffle into a cone, suggesting it replace the cup. Visitors loved the idea, and waffle cones became a sensation.
Who invented it first remains debated.
Several people claimed credit. but historians never reached a definitive conclusion.
With the St. Louis World's Fair popularized the waffle cone, making it a recognizable way to serve ice cream.
This merged Middle Eastern waffle techniques, European ice cream, and an American fare.
While serving methods changed in St. Louis, another transformation happened across the Atlantic.
In Europe, a chemist, not a chef, was working on a breakthrough for ice cream's texture and quality. In the late 1940s, a team of researchers sought efficient ice cream production.
They studied manufacturing processes, finding that increasing air during churning improved the product.
This allowed more ice cream production from the same ingredients, creating a softer texture. For manufacturers, this meant a more efficient and cost-effective production process.
The spelling changed to sundae to avoid religious association, though its origin is debated.
Soft serve has less milk fat and more air, giving it a light texture and softness at higher temperatures.
This innovation made production cheaper, and the dessert more affordable globally. Ice cream completed its transformation from seasonal luxury to mass-market food.
While Western markets evolved via competition, the Soviet Union developed a different model.
There, ice cream became a popular food and a symbol of Soviet life.
In the 1930s, a visiting official studied large-scale food and ice cream production in industrial centers. Returning to the Soviet Union, he helped launch their ice cream industry, expanding production and accessibility. The production was strictly regulated by state standards, defining ingredients and quality.
Classic Soviet plomir used dairy fat, not substitutes, earning a premium quality reputation. Consistent standards across the country ensured a remarkably consistent taste.
Foreign visitors during the Cold War noted Soviet ice cream as a distinctive everyday feature.
People ate ice cream regardless of the season, even in winter. After the Soviet Union's collapse, the market changed. New manufacturers used vegetable fats.
The classic Soviet ice cream flavor became a symbol of nostalgia for a vanished era.
Debates continue whether Soviet plomir was truly superior to modern versions. Arguments are driven by personal memories, not definitive historical conclusions.
Today, the global ice cream market is worth about $200 billion annually.
The US, Australia, and New Zealand are top per capita ice cream consumers.
A vast eastern nation, once a small market, now ranks first in total consumption and grows rapidly.
Largest manufacturers produce billions of servings. International companies sell ice cream globally. Japanese mochi ice cream, once unknown outside Japan, is now popular internationally.
Italian gelato, though ancient, took its modern form in the 20th century, becoming an iconic export.
The industry evolves. Lactose-free and plant-based ice creams are fast-expanding segments. Manufacturers experiment with flash freezing, sugar-free recipes, and probiotic-enriched products.
Ice cream adapts to consumer preferences, but its role in a healthy diet is yet to be determined.
Ice cream's journey spans from mountain snow to modern industrial freezers.
From Chinese empanner's kitchens, Arab sherbet, Sicilian granita, Parisian cafes, American factories, to global food. It's a story of a luxury becoming an everyday treat, transformed by innovation, sometimes with tragic consequences. Each solved their era's problems, preserving ice, simplifying production, making desserts accessible, or introducing them to new audiences.